Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mariama Kaloko. I'm a community health specialist with the Fairfax County Health Department. And today we're going to be talking about food and nutrition. I don't know about you guys, but going to the grocery store is a little painful these days with some of the food prices. So, with us today, we have Amanda Vega, who's the health department's own registered dietitian nutritionist, and she's going to be sharing some tips on how to get the best nutrition out of your food. Welcome, Miss Vega.
Hi, Mariama. Thanks for having me. I'm so excited to be here and talk about all this fun nutrition stuff.
Thank you for taking this time to talk to us about this topic today. So let's start with the basics of nutrition. Can you tell our audience what does a balanced diet look like?
Yeah, a balanced diet looks pretty similar for most people, children and adults. I know that we're focusing on kids today. So we get our recommendations from the USDA's My Plate, and that My Plate recommends that half of your plate be fruits and vegetables, so preferably those green leafy vegetables. A quarter of your plate be lean proteins, and another quarter of your plate be carbohydrate sources that are at least half of those are whole grains and whole wheat.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful. I'm sure our audience will definitely take some of that into consideration when making their meals. So, since we are in winter, I want to kind of talk about what specific nutritional guidelines do you have for the winter months?
That's a good question. So, I think that a lot of people know how important fruits and vegetables are.
Hmm.
And what I want to reiterate is the importance of the vitamins and minerals that are packed into fruits and vegetables. And that's how we can stay healthy in the winter time. Those vitamins and minerals help our immunity and help keep us healthy. And in some studies, they've shown that vitamin C can help reduce the length of that cold that you might get. Um, Fruits and vegetables, that's the main key. Getting fruits and vegetables and a variety of them.
That's wonderful. That's important because I know even for me as an adult, I forget the fruits and vegetables sometimes. So that's some wonderful advice. So I want to actually talk about the skyrocketing food prices. Like I stated earlier, even for me going to the grocery store, I'm a little shocked by some of the prices that I see now. So I wanted to see if you could share some tricks or hacks for negotiating at the grocery store to make sure that you're getting the most nutrition out of the food that you're purchasing.
Yes, this is something that we're all struggling with right now. Prices are really out of this world right now.
Mhm.
And I mean, I know you've seen the prices for eggs. It's so ridiculous. Um, so I do have a few tips, and these are some I employ in my household as well. Shopping for the season. It's really important to get fresh fruits and vegetables that are in season so you can get the best bang for your buck.
Mhm.
But that doesn't mean that you only have to get fresh fruits and vegetables. If you can't buy in season or don't like what's in season, you can buy frozen. And
Mhm.
they're usually cheaper if they're not in season, or even if they are in season compared to fresh fruits and vegetables. And they're slammed with nutrition. So much
Mhm.
nutrition in a frozen fruit or a mango. Right now, what's in season are apples and pears. And what I like to do with them, I can eat them raw when they're ripe, but
Mm.
sometimes just baking them in the oven with a little bit of cinnamon,
Oh,
it's
wow.
perfect for the cold season. Some other things that I have are going into your grocery store with a plan. So you're at home, you're planning what you're going to eat for the week with your family, and then you're going to that grocery store with a list. A list is really helpful for sticking to your budget. And before you leave the house, you can cut some coupons, but also if you're not a coupon cutter, you can go on the phone apps and compare grocery stores to see who has the better prices for what you're looking for. I know for me, there are some stores that I'll go to only for their produce. It's fresh produce, it's always replenished, but it's way cheaper there. And then there's some stores I will not go to for produce because the prices are way higher. And
Mhm.
using those weekly ads is really important for me for saving money.
Those are some wonderful tips. I know I even make smoothies out of frozen fruit because sometimes just eating an apple is just not enough. So I'd rather have it in a smoothie. So those are some wonderful tips. Thank you so much. So now I want to talk about affordability. Like, we're talking about grocery store prices are going up. What are some tips that you can share with our audience today on where to access food, especially for families that are struggling with affordability?
That's a good one. Another. I just love talking about food, Mariama.
Me
Um,
too.
one thing, because the cost of food is going up, one thing that I've really noticed at the grocery store are meat products,
Mhm,
poultry, beef, pork, eggs. They're all really high, and they're a good source of protein. Um, but they're an expensive source of protein, and you don't
mhm.
have to compromise your nutrition by blowing your budget. You can get your protein from different plant based sources, and they're much more thrifty. So, examples of some thrifty ways to get your protein in that are also delicious, beans. Um,
Mhm,
we like beans and rice. Also, lentils. Lentils are good sources of protein. Peanut butter, if or
mhm,
other nuts, those are good sources of protein. And another hack to take away is when you're going to the grocery store and comparing the can of beans to the
mhm.
dry bag of beans, you're going to get a healthier um, version of the same beans. It takes a little bit longer to cook, but you're getting much more beans in that dry bag. And because you control what you put into it, you know exactly what you're getting. So you're not getting too much salt if you buy that dry bag of beans.
Oh wow, that's wonderful because I think sometimes, we tend to go for the easier option, but I think those are some wonderful tips. I also wanted to ask, what are, some public health resources that people can go to find affordable food?
Well, I will say, Mariama, I'm a little bit biased, but WIC.
Okay.
WIC is the Women and Infant Children Program, and we help pregnant moms, postpartum moms, and children up to the age of 5
Oh
with
wow.
nutrition education, breastfeeding referrals, and supplemental nutritious food. And our nutritionists can provide a lot of information about their food and their specific nutrition needs.
Wow.
Another resource that we also like to refer to is the SNAP program. It's formerly known as food stamps. This is another program that can help provide food to people in need.
That's amazing. That's wonderful. And I really hope our audience, taps into some of those resources because everybody's feeling the grocery food, hike, the price hikes. Everyone's feeling the pain.
The
So,
pinch on their wallets, right?
I know.
It's hard.
It's very hard. So thank you for that, Amanda. That was wonderful. So another thing I want to talk about is baby formula. I know in the recent months we've been seeing headlines about, formula shortages. What are some tips that you can share with parents who are seeking to find formula for their babies?
Wow, Mariama, this is a huge one. I'm not sure if you know, but I have two kids of my own, and we have been through formula. We've been through breastfeeding, and I understand, what people are, going through. This is affecting everybody, not just Fairfax, not just Virginia, but this is everywhere.
Mhm,
The first thing that we recommend is exclusive breastfeeding for kids up to the age of 6 months if they can breastfeed that long. And we know, if you can breastfeed longer, that's great. And we also know that not everybody can breastfeed. In those cases, there is formula, and it's the next best thing to get your baby's nutritional needs met. In the in the case where you have to use formula, follow the manufacturer's instructions on the can. We don't want parents adding to the formula. We don't want parents diluting the formula. So, if they have any questions about the formula, our WIC nutritionists are available to help out, answer any questions. But it's always important to refer to their healthcare provider if there's
mhm.
any questions regarding their baby's nutritional needs and care.
That's wonderful, and I think it's even better coming, from a mother. So that's some wonderful advice, and I believe we will be sharing information about, where to access that the WIC program. So now let's talk about exercise because it's not just about our nutrition just isn't just about what we eat. It's also, the little bit of exercise that we can get. So, how can children stay active, especially now that it's winter? Parents may not necessarily want their children going outside in the cold for fear of them catching, a respiratory illness or something like that.
That's a big concern. It's gotten really cold recently. I think it was snowing a couple of days ago, just a little bit of flurries.
Yeah.
And not everybody enjoys exercise. Just the word exercise has people running.
Hmm.
No pun intended. Um, and for children, the recommendation is 60 minutes a day of exercise. But, you know, that sounds a lot. It sounds like a lot, but you don't have to get it in one 60-minute session. You don't have to put your kid on the treadmill in your house or running up and down the stairs, to get
Yeah.
that time, that physical activity. It can be broken into smaller segments and it can be fun. And it really should be fun because that's how we build those lifelong habits to enjoy physical activity. So it can be a 10-minute walk. It can
Mhm.
be turn on the radio and have a dance party. Um, if you have a safe place, maybe they can bounce around on some pillows or have a pillow fight. There's so many fun ways that you can do it inside. You can make it a competition. Just sitting up and down on the couch while you're watching a show in between commercials, that's a great way to build strength and use some cardio.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much for all this wonderful advice you shared with us today, Amanda. And I think we at this point we're going to go over some questions from our audience, if you're up for it.
Yeah,
So,
fun. Tell me what we have.
all right. So we have a question. The individual says, "My family and I are tired of the same old thing. Where can I get some ideas for new healthy meals?"
Oh, this is good. There's so many resources out there.
Mhm.
The first resource is myplate.gov. And myplate.gov has a seasonal produce guide uh, on a different website come out from the USDA, but
Mhm.
myplate.gov utilizes the food resources from programs such as SNAP and WIC to come up with fun and different recipes that are
Uh-huh.
affordable. So you get that variety. Um, and it also reminds me that when you're making meals and trying to save a little bit of money,
Mhm.
try to reuse an ingredient. It doesn't have to taste the same if you use a red bell pepper in a
Mhm.
couple of different recipes. It could taste different in every different recipe, and you don't have to buy a bunch of new ingredients.
That's wonderful advice. I know I use my plate as well to check sometimes. So that's wonderful. Thank you. So the next question we have is, where do you like to exercise as a family?
That's good. My family, we like to go to elementary schools that have open parks. Sometimes those elementary schools or middle schools are gated off, um,
Hmm.
but Fairfax has an abundance of parks in the whole county. So just go on to fairfaxcounty.gov/parks. A lot of participants may be eligible for reduced cost park passes to go visit the Fairfax parks and participate in some of those group sports and activities that they have. And there's a lot.
Yeah, that's wonderful. And there are also community centers, I believe, on that website that people can register and go to. So thank you so much for taking this time today. I hope our audience enjoyed those wonderful tips, and I really hope some our audience utilizes them because, like I said, we're all feeling the pinch. So we're just, trying to give out these tips to help everyone out. And we're using them as well. So thank you.
Oh, thanks for having me, Mariama. I really enjoyed this time talking to you today about food, nutrition, and all of the programs that are in Fairfax County available to, all of our residents.
Thank you, Amanda. Thank you so much. And I'm sure be wrapping up shortly. Thank you.